There's a store over in DC, and it's a huge supermarket, but what they're basically saying is that not only in San Francisco, not only in California, not only in Oakland, not only in Sacramento, not only in Portland, not only in Seattle, not only on the West Coast, but cities here, not only in Chicago, where Walmart said, fuck y'all, Chicago, I'm leaving and I don't owe y'all nothing. In DC, in the capital, the state's in DC, they are experiencing the same thing that they are experiencing over in California. So bad that the popular giant food grocery store reported over $500,000. Let me say that again. $500,000 in a recent product loss due to shoplifting, which equates to roughly 20% of the sales after the theft. Over $500,000 in losses due to store theft. And what do you know? It just so happened to be in an urban community. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all.
The wide-reaching impact of crime. Ward 8 Councilmember Trayon White today said if rampant shoplifting continues, the giant on Alabama Avenue in Southeast may be forced to close its doors. News 4's Mauricio Casillas looks into what this would mean for food insecurity in the district and what's being done to keep that store open.
We're gonna work with John to keep this open.
A call to action to save an oasis of sorts in what is otherwise a food desert in Southeast DC.
Taken from this store is really taken from yourself.
Councilmember.
This is a council member, right? His name, I believe, is Trayon. I'm sorry. We'll learn more about him shortly. But this is a council member that had to hold a press conference and a rally in the parking lot of the grocery store in order to advocate for people not to steal, because ultimately all they're doing is continuing to create a food desert that they whined about having before these stores came into their communities and started to build. You know, I heard that, what's her name? The actor girl, the one that Aries Spears had got in trouble. What's her name? The black girl, kind of ghetto. What's her name? Anyways, I don't remember her name. If you know what her name is, put the name in the chat. I heard that it was a woman actor, a black female actor, that was saying that she was going back into her neighborhood and looking to raise over $1.5 million in order to start a grocery store because there was a food desert in that neighborhood. And that the people had to travel so far in order for them to even be able to get groceries, or they had to get price gouged from the local liquor stores for even getting basic food, because they were deprived and depressed based off of the fact that nobody wanted to. Tiffany Haddish, that's her name. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish said that she wanted to make a very, very bad investment and going in and investing in her community, while at the same time Walmart is running from Chicago. We gonna get into San Francisco shortly, so on and so forth, right? But these food giants are basically saying, yo, people are walking in and they're taking over $500,000 worth of stuff, which equates to all of our profits. And if people don't know, grocery stores operate on a very, very thin margin, similar to restaurants. So they have to be able to, in order to keep prices low, in order to add value into people's lives, they have to have the cooperation from the community that actually values the fact that they're a business in that community that didn't have to be there in the first place. And this giant grocery store is like, yo, I don't even know if we still want to be here. And so now they're having a rally in the parking lot trying to get the grocery store not to leave. But the fundamentals of business is that if it's not profitable, I might have to walk away.
Trayon White says he's met with management and Giant who tell him they lost hundreds of thousands of dollars due to shoplifting in this store alone.
We know it's tough times, and we know the price of food has skyrocketed in the last 3 years. That's right, yeah. But we cannot afford to hurt ourselves by constantly taking from the store, because that means that everybody is going to be without a place to eat, and enough is enough.
News 4 reached out to Giant, which says it does not currently have plans to close the store, but, quote, the reality is that theft and violence at this store is significant and getting worse, not better. As a result, it is becoming increasingly more difficult to operate under these conditions. We've invested in a host of measures to mitigate the issue at this store and across many stores, but we also need the help and partnership from the community and local officials to truly combat the theft and violence that continues to escalate.
Now, this is not in California. This is in D.C. This happens all across the United States of America. This is not an issue that is only based off of one state. Now, it's happening all across the state in California. But let me ask y'all a question. When you have the same thing happening in different communities that have never intersected or never met each other, but they doing the same thing: theft, robbery, killings, muggings, rapes, disrespect, going against the police. Don't call the police against the people that's doing the worst things in their community. Continuing to complain, asking for reparations. If you have the same result all across the board, is it systemic or is it a cultural problem that we're not addressing here? Is there something else going on here that we're embracing that's toxic for us, in which we're asking for somebody else to come in and solve a problem and to continue to be subjected to our cultural norms, but we won't even do the thing that's in our own best interest? We know who's stealing. We know who's killing. We know who's selling drugs. We know who's doing the worst things in the community. They don't even hide themselves anymore. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be in the hood to know. All you got to do is be following certain people on social media. They're going to tell you that they out here scamming, stealing, pillaging, raping, murdering, doing all of the worst things. They even throw it in the communities. Look. It's so bad out here now that, do y'all realize that when you go out, when you driving in your car, and I know that y'all saying that rap music and all of this other type of stuff and our cultural norms don't matter, and what it is that you follow on social media, you can follow the most ratchet things, you can listen to the most demonic music. Cool. When you driving in your car and you listening to that music, do you know that they're literally programming you in order to really accept something that is not normal in other communities to be your cultural norm? Do you know that when you go to the bar and you got that shit playing in the background, or when y'all hoes go out to brunch and every fucking woman in there is 100 million pounds and they all going, hey, 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 you know I won't go to that shit? You know I will not go to any brunch invite with a chick, because I understand that depending on where that brunch is, them bitches is gonna be in there like, hey, hey. They're gonna be standing on the fucking furniture and twerking. And if you say no, don't do that, then you're gonna go viral and they're gonna disrespect you. Do you know that when you go into these clubs, now Anton do not go into clubs, but when you listen to fucking demonic music and all they doing is playing shit that talk about how it is that they destroy their communities, how they about to go rob and pull up on the op, fuck the ops, I don't give a fuck about my own people, and then I'm a fly back, smoke some trees, and then fuck on your bitch. If every fucking song that you listening to inside of the club, in brunch, in your car, you wake up on that shit, you go to sleep on that shit, which is one of the reasons why I try to do the Millionaire Morning Show in the morning, so that I get your day started off right, so that you'll start to rethink what it is that you taking in on a regular basis. I can get your day started off right instead of fucking having you reprogramming yourself day in, day out, 365 days a year. All you do, your whole playlist, when you work out, when you go to the club, when you go to the gym, when you go and pick up a chick, when y'all get in the car with a chick. It used to be that you can get in the car with a chick, right? And then you would switch it up a little bit. Now you motherfuckers is gangster music. When you pick up a chick, you ain't even trying to get her wet. You just out here just thugging it the whole time. So you are who you attract. And you program yourself all day long, and you sipping on your drink, and all you hear is the motherfucking ops and fuck these niggas and Black Lives Matters and all of this other type of stuff. What the fuck you think you gonna do? Your kids is in the back in the baby seat being programmed to it, right? And you say, oh, well, the kids shouldn't be affected by it. They don't know. I'm going to tell them differently. Why would they learn? Kids inherently learn a language without you even having to teach them. They automatically adopt it based off of what they see in their cultural norms. So if a kid is able to learn a language, when they come out, they're like, Google, gaga, blah, 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 blah. And they don't even understand what the fuck is going on, but they're able to adapt to their environment and learn a whole fucking language. What do you think is happening with you programming them back in the baby seat, and all they see and hear is trash, kill, peel, destroy, fuck these niggas, men ain't shit, women is bitches, all of this other type of stuff. And then on top of it, you smoke some trees, you blow that smoke in their face, and they came out with the clap because your mama, they mama was a crack, they made him a crack baby, and they mama had syphilis when they had him. What the fuck you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen? What you think that these people are gonna come out and they're gonna be normal citizens and they're gonna be respectful and not steal, kill, pillage, and destroy when that's all they've been programmed to do their entire life voluntarily by their mama and their daddy?
End quote. Those who live here say the store is vital to the neighborhood.
This is like the corner store. It's not just a supermarket. If I wanted a soda, I'd have to come to the Giant. A bag of chips, I'd have to come to the Giant. If I want groceries to feed my whole household, I would have to come to the Giant. So the Giant is essential. It's like the anchor for this particular area.
This Giant on Alabama Avenue Southeast is the only full-service grocery store in all of Ward 8. If it were to someday close, the nearest grocery store after that...
This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Watch this. Watch this. Same city councilman having a completely different city council meeting, rally, right after that. Right after that. This is the conversations that he's having, y'all. Same guy.
All right, Tisha, thank you.
Same neighborhood.
Recent surge of violence this past weekend. A D.C. council member now wanting to possibly call in the National Guard.
Same councilman. I'm surprised they ain't called him a sellout yet. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. I'm surprised that they haven't called him a sellout yet, because now he's saying, listen, stop fucking stealing, stop killing, stop creating a food desert. Yo, it's so bad. Crime is so horrible. The things that I see on and come across my desk on a daily basis, we need to call in the National Guard. This same young man is saying that we need to call in the National Guard in D.C.
Let's get right out to Fox 5's Stephanie Ramirez, live along Good Hope Road, where an emotional news conference wrapped up today. Stephanie?
And guys, there's a mass shooting just behind us here by 16th Good Hope Road that killed 3 people on Saturday. One of them was a 35-year-old father named Bernard Hodges, who went by BJ. His mother telling us that he worked 3 jobs. One of the most recent.
35-year-old father worked 3 jobs right after the food desert conversation. City councilman will have to go over and do another rally because this guy who's standing by and is apparently a part of the International Union of Operating Engineers, father worked 3 jobs, got killed along with a host of other people just because he's living in a specific community.
Working HVAC at MGM. She says he was just leaving the store here, and this is an area where he would often feed the community. Well, it's that community that officials and community leaders are calling on to help end this gun.
Wait. You mean that a man that works 3 jobs, is an engineer at General Motors, respectable man, father, and he also, like y'all always say, how come we don't, I see somebody in there, why don't we have more men? The solutions, bless them to come out here and talk to the youth. The same motherfucker that's out there feeding the community, working his ass off, being a great father, as an engineer at General Motors, is 35 years old, haven't even reached the peak of his greatness, not even close to it, is fucking gunned down in his own community. In D.C., same thing happens in Chicago, same thing happens in Detroit, same thing that happens all across California. You pick one. Pick one. Stop fucking telling me to come back to the hood. Stop telling me to come back to the hood.
Violence, the victim's mother joining Ward 8 council member Trayon White today in their calls for change. And yes, a very important part of that conversation was also the council member wanting the National Guard to possibly help end this violence. Listen to some of the emotion we heard today.
Get your children. That's right. DC has a lot of resources.
Wait. So now we want to change the narrative. Now it's not the teacher's fault. Now it's the motherfucking parents that's riding around with future bumping every day, and they're giving their children no tools in order to be successful. Yo kids is out here gunning down people that's a part of the community that's doing a good thing.
They have a lot of resources, an abundance of resources if you need help with your kids. Because some of you know exactly what your youth are doing.
You know who the killers and the dealers are. It's your little boo-boo. He walk in at all times in the night. He got his purple label on. He smell like trees. His lips is black and purple. That motherfucker got dreads. He ain't got no job. He always in the streets. Keep him a pair of Jordans on. And he got that switch. He got them switches on his Glocks. You know who your children are before we ever encounter them, and then you want to tell me that I need to have preventative and proactive measures of how I deal with this little nigga, and this nigga's a menace to society, and you raised him. You raised him. You groomed him. You know exactly who he is. And you had another one. And you had another one. So you got 3 kids by 3 different baby fathers, and you raise this little monster, and I'm supposed to come back and mentor him or come and be a stepfather? Fuck that little nigga. You better go and get that nigga some metal bracelets and handcuff him and take him into jail.
So we're tired of this. And enough is enough. Excuse my language, but I want to be quite frank to the young men and young ladies. We saying it's not okay for you to load up 30, 40, 50, 120 rounds in a gun and shoot about our community.
Hey guys, after this, the council member told reporters that he has also spoken with the National Guard to find out what they need in a request, which is...
He is personally calling the National Guard and say, hey, we need a military presence in an American city. Think about this for a minute, y'all. Let's really, really take this into consideration. We need these police officers in Tokyo, they don't even fucking have guns. They walk around with batons on. The police officers in Tokyo don't even have guns. They walking around with batons on. I don't even think that they got electrocution device. I don't even think that they got that. They ain't got no mace. They got batons, fam. No guns, no crime, no litter, no nothing. Everybody is chill. Everybody having a good time. Everybody respectful. You're telling me that we are asking for a military presence in an American city, in one of the most prominent American cities. It has gotten that bad. Instead of y'all sitting here protesting and asking for somebody to solve a problem for you, or to say Black Lives Matter, or to have a fucking reparations meeting, you niggas need to really be cleaning up your community. This is horrible, and we all know who the monsters are. Man, look, y'all will be rich. You ain't even got to play the lottery. All you got to do is go ahead and rack up and get a list of all of the people. See, it's little Ray Ray, Man, your son, his homies. You can come up on $150,000 to pay off your student loans. All you got to do is participate with Crime Stoppers. You can come up with 150 bands by just turning in the criminals and cleaning up your communities. You ain't even got to go and ask Biden for student loan forgiveness. All you got to do is call Crime Stoppers. I know I'm asking for too much. I'm not the person that needs to be saying it because I'm out of touch. I got too much money and all of that type of shit. But I'm telling you that the people that live in the communities is trying to get to the National Guards. That should tell you something about the culture. Don't keep telling me about how this ain't our culture, then how come it only happens within our neighborhoods? It's other neighborhoods that don't have resources. They are poor as fuck. They have a lower income rate than us, but they do not have the same problems that we have. They do not have this. They are not running in a Nike store. They are not following you home. They not shooting up men of the community that's feeding the community. At the very least, the leaders of the community was the ones that at least it was respected. The mailmen wasn't having to walk around with bulletproof vests on. This is insane. This is out of control.